Hi, I'm Francie Heinrichsen here with Gina Jeffries of State Farm Insurance. So, when I started my business in 2015, I got great advice from somebody that I admire in the business world. And they said, build your team of experts. So, this is not actually your team. These are your advisors who you
Mm-hmm.
surround yourself with and develop relationships with. And there's 7 of them that we recommend. And those are like banker, attorney, CPA, and one of them is an insurance agent because they can help protect your business. And so I wanted to jump on. I'm really big into diving into the why and the how behind doing what we do in business and not just the what, because anybody can tell you what. But what we want to know is why do we do that? And how do we do it? So I'm going to be diving into those questions with Gina Jeffries today. Gina and I got connected several months ago when she reached out and she said, "Hey, we want to sponsor your Founding Females event." And so
Yay.
you have been the biggest cheerleader for founding females and female entrepreneurs in our Central Illinois area and really in our founding females community. So thank you for being here with me.
Yeah, super excited. Thank you for letting me be part of it. It's awesome. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got a lot of great things coming. So
Yes.
So let's start with this. Let's hear about you. Can you give us the Gina 101?
Oh boy. Well, I hope everyone's like sitting down because it's really exciting. No, I'm gonna go with the basics here. As far as my family, hubby of over 21 years. He'll probably correct me on that. It's probably like 22, but 2 boys, same parents, but I got a 20-year-old and a 7-year-old. So a nice little gap in there. As far as business wise, most of my experiences was in retail management and just kind of in, like jobs. Most people have jobs. Didn't have a career, just sort of going from a different management to different management. Tried banking, literally stumbled upon insurance when I had a life event happen that was actually really serious, but I kind of joke about it now. And kind of had always known that I wanted to be in business for myself. Never knew, how to take that route, how to get that started as, kind of what we're helping people with right now. And ultimately started working for a State Farm agent who had just opened his office and got to experience that from, beginning to when I left for a little over 6 years, and then had the opportunity to actually open my office. And I did hold out for Morton because I really wanted to stay in Morton just because that's where my kids go to school, where we live. And there's just so much growth and potential here. And I mean, if I was going to do something, I was going to have to be passionate about it, and have a connection. So I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity, interview, of course, and train and everything for the opening. Well, actually created the opening kind of
Yeah,
with my awesome sales leader
love that.
because I was a scratch agent. So I didn't take over anybody's business, um, which is pretty rare. So with again, I have the most amazing support, with State Farm. And they pushed for me to kind of get this. And so I was able to start from scratch and build my business up. So I'm a small business owner. A lot of people don't realize that about State Farm agents. We are contracted through State Farm, but we are small business owners. So it's my office, my team, my bills, my payroll, everything. So, and it's just been the most awesome experience. And I've been doing this now in my office for just over 2.5 years. And I recently got to purchase my very own building, which is awesome, and right on Main Street in Morton. So it's been a good little ride.
Awesome. Love that. So let's dive into how you help female business owners.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, obviously, like that's a passion of mine because one, female, and I'm sure you know all of the stats and everything. Female business owners are the largest growing entrepreneurship group, and female business owners are starting businesses left and right, whether it's from in home or small pop-up shops, whatever the case may be. So one, huge opportunity, right, for growth and potential with female entrepreneurs. And I really honestly just support them however I can. So if somebody is, having an event, like I want to be part of it. And it's honestly just for support. I don't like it helps. Obviously, I'm there visible, right, with State Farm for myself, but I really just want to support. And if I have birthdays, I'm gonna go to one of the bakers that I know that's a female. I mean, most of them are, but if I'm gonna go to get alterations, just everything. Like I purposefully try to do. I mean, not only someone that I know, but that is a small business. Like I'm gonna try to do that, and then even better if it's female and we have that connection. And it's different being a female just because the challenges are different. I mean, it is what it is. Females are probably, if they're married, they have kids and they're working that and handling kids in a business, and it's their choice, which is awesome, which was my choice too. But knowing you have that support and anything I can do to build that up and make it a staple in the community is kind of what I want to do. And I just did a Facebook post. It was funny the other day, something about how if my friend owns a liquor store, I'm going to buy my drinks from there. If my friend owns a restaurant, I'm going to, go eat there, whatever. And if my friend's more expensive, I'm still going to go there. And it's kind of the same premise, because in the end, it's putting back in your community anyway. And it's only going to help, empower all of us. So, and I hope for the same in return, right? Like obviously, but, ultimately it's just showing support and being there and, opening a, hopefully dialogue conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think you defined a lot of our founding females values too. In fact, we have
Mm-hmm.
that talks about, linking arms with the women around us. And we can do
Mm-hmm.
that every single day because women hold the majority of the consumer buying power. And so could you
Mm-hmm.
imagine if we all rode in the same direction and thought first about who can I support in my circle or what women-owned businesses can I support in the community? You just nailed
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
So
And there's a ton. That's amazing.
yeah, I mean, there always have been if you look for them, but even more so
Mm-hmm.
now, women, the barriers to entry have never been lower. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
So women can start businesses while they're child rearing, and many
Mm-hmm.
are. So those barriers that we used to have to scale over are coming
Yeah.
down. And, somebody can start a business in a weekend if they want.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a beautiful thing. It's a
Yep.
beautiful thing. The
Yep.
landscape is changing. So let's dive into insurance more specifically. What should female business owners look for when they're choosing an insurance agent?
Honestly, that is huge. It does make a big difference. And I mean, I don't want to cause any waves here, but the insurance company is huge too, because you have to have company like that knows business insurance too, and then that reflects the agent as well. So I actually just got statistics on this that State Farm has over 29 million business policies in force with over $4 billion in premium. So having a company that knows business and knows commercial is going to be obviously huge, right? Because I've reviewed many policies and I'm like, do you know that? Like, promise you, I reviewed one that said it was really inexpensive. And I'm like, do you guys own the building? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, do you know that this is not like this is your business? Like you have no building coverage. You've had no building coverage for 5 years. So
Yeah.
basic things like that, being able to look at another thing and compare another policy, compare, and just having someone that's accessible, having somebody available and knowledgeable is huge. But being able to be easy to talk to, feel comfortable asking questions. I make it a point if you can't come meet with me in person, I want to try to talk to you on the phone. I have to get information from you to be accurate. And so I've trained my team, like, hey, someone's going to appreciate you asking these questions because it's taking care of things in the front end instead of having to clean up in the back end. So it may seem like a lot of questions, as far as what we need and information gathering. But, somebody that's willing to take the time and make sure that it's done right is going to be huge, right? Because there's so many different lines of business, from like workers' comp, errors and omissions, commercial liability, all the different, avenues that you may need, and you may need all of them. There's a key person, key employee life policy that you can, if you're a partner with somebody, basically makes a good transition if something happens to one of them, so there's just tons of different nuances that somebody needs to be well versed in. It's kind of
Okay. So I love that. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to skip ahead to one of our questions because you bring up a good point. There's so many different policies that
yeah.
you could have.
Yep.
And let's dive into that point where a business owner is in the know. They know that they need to go get insurance and they're ready to seek that out. What information should they share about their business to help you point them in the right direction?
Yes, and that's huge. Kind of knowing your plan is going to be so much easier, right? Because I don't want to shock you with a really high inaccurate quote or a really low inaccurate quote, first of all. So, your tax ID number is huge. Knowing what type of business you are, LLC, an S corp, whatever, sole proprietor, doesn't matter. You can be whatever you want. It's your decision. But that's just a basic. And like the more the better. Just your projections. Even if you're a brand new business, you would have had a business plan, and we got to go off that business plan. What are you projecting annual sales receipts to be for the year? What are your projections for employees for the year? You may not have, you may have one now, but really, what are you projecting for the year? Kind of having that year 1 to 3 year plan kind of in place, right? Where we know we want it to be accurate. We don't have to change it every year, because starting it, it's just a quick quote, but really we want to do it as accurate as possible. So again, going and getting that done on the front end versus the back is going to be huge. So, the more the merrier with information. Obviously, if you are going to be the owner of the property too, right? That makes the difference versus you being a tenant somewhere. So there's just all different caveats where, information gathering is just going to be huge.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you saying is come with the information that characterizes your business, LLC or type of business, the EIN, you said that also, and
Yep.
then what your kind of your ecosystem looks like, but then
Yeah.
also where you plan to go in the next 3 to 5 years, because it's going to be important to be able to build that into your insurance plan over the long term.
And one thing too, Francie, like property, personal property, or assets and things like that. Because again, that's what that's protecting, right? And whether you want your business to be protected separately or together with personal, and just where are those assets, and how many assets do you have, right? Because we need to make sure. My job is to make sure that you don't have to pay anything out of pocket if something happens, right? And so I'd rather have State Farm pay than you. So we want to, make sure we have the most accurate information. And again, we're going to kind of look forward a little bit, especially like workers' comp, because that's something that is going to change probably every year, right? And it's an auditable policy. So that's a whole other story, but I won't go into that.
Okay, awesome. So what would you say to a business owner who might feel vulnerable, not really sure or familiar with the space of insurance? What would you say to them if they're in the position to begin looking for who might be a good fit for them?
Kind of touching on what we talked about for what you should look for in an insurance agent, right? So similar to that, just making sure that, well, one, no question is a stupid question, right? Back to kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's quoted, but there is no dumb question or something like that, right? Ask questions. And it's almost like you want to interview that agent too, right? I, sold a couple houses. Like I interviewed real estate agents because I wanted to know someone was really in it for me. And, if a fee might be a little bit more, there might be a reason, so, don't always look at the bottom line necessarily, because there's usually a reason for that. And make sure that you are um, just knowing the proper questions to ask, like we talked about, right? So making sure that you're doing what's best for you. And somebody might have that same business and you're like, well, mine isn't the same or mine's different. Well, but we're doing it for you, so it's got to be personalized and tailored for you. And that might look different than, somebody else, or may have more, you may not need as much, but just personalizing and making sure that it fits you.
Yeah, such a good point. Such a
Mm-hmm.
good point, because everything else about your business should be tailored to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So last question, what makes you different from other insurance agents?
Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I have always said from the beginning that I'm not going to compromise on quality. And I'm not going to compromise, you know, basically meaning like for quantity. I mean, I do quite well, but, I would rather have lasting, loyal customers, knowing that I'm taking the time and, spending the time with them, versus just kind of throwing things together and and I'm not saying all agents do that, but, personally for me, that was a conscious choice to make sure that, it was, kind of organic, right? Like organically growing my business by networking, you know, being visible in the community and really, making sure that people know I'm here to stay, right? And just supporting wherever I can. Because that's why I wanted to be in Morton, right? Because I wanted to be a part of things. I wanted people to see my face and think of State Farm and Morton. And honestly, I'm always available, really, which is like a fault. You ask my family, obviously, I feel like you're very similar. I thought I was like a hard worker, then there's you. But but even just availability, being available, we're open on Saturdays, and just really doing things that make a difference, right? Things that are passionate for me, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do what I can. That's also why I wanted to do this job. I wanted to have the means to be able to do all the things that I wasn't able to before. And for me, that meant like I got to write a check for the Greater Peoria Honor Flight, and sponsor a veteran. He got to go on a flight, I have a scholarship at the Morton High School now, so a service scholarship for two graduating seniors that are going into the service industry, meaning like police, fire, nursing, whatever case may be. That's like literally why I wanted to be able to kind of do this and help people in this business too. So for me, it's just, I guess what makes me different is that the job has, I guess I wanted this job to be able to use as a means to kind of do those extra things, if that makes sense. And also meeting people and just being inspired by their stories. I hear stories every day. So, I truly love my job. I don't know if that makes me different, but like, that's like, I love walking in here every day and getting to do what I do. So, that's kind of, I guess, what I would say possibly makes me different. I don't know.
Well, and you're my insurance agent, so I can tell you what makes you different in my eyes is that you are a business owner whose offering is State Farm insurance. You're not a State Farm insurance agent necessarily who's a business owner. And I think that's a huge difference because there's ownership there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Initiative for creating your own relationships and creating the character of your business.
Yeah.
Under, and you have State Farm as a fantastic product, but you're a business owner first. And I think that makes you very different from a lot of
I love that. That's a great way to put it, honestly, because that's kind of like my footing is State Farm, and I'm kind of building on that. And that's also what's great about State Farm agency is that I can do all those things. I can branch out and sort of make my name on the door, So yeah, I love that. I'll have to use that.
Awesome. Well, we are looking forward to seeing you next, crossing paths with you often. Thank you for
Yay!
your knowledge and for what you're doing for our community.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
so excited. And I'm going to say one quote because this is my favorite quote for every business owner, entrepreneur, somebody thinking about it. And this is my team quote. They probably hate hearing it, but and I don't know who said it. I just know the quote. So you won't always be motivated, but you must always stay disciplined.
that is so
So
good.
to me, that means you're going to always have days when you're like, okay, oh my gosh, you're just deflated and you're tired or whatever. But it's the motivation that's going to keep you going, and or not the motivation, the discipline that's going to keep you going, right? You're like, no, but I said I'm going to have this done today. I'm going to have it done, so the discipline's going to take you where you need to go and where you need to be. So
I
that's
love
my
that.
spiel.
I love that. What a good quote. I'm going to write that down.
Yep.
Good. Gina, thank you so much. And you
Thank
are
you.
if anybody is in a position to need insurance of any kind,
Yep.
then you are in Morton, Illinois, and you're just a click or a call away.
Yes, ma'am. Right
All right.
off Main Street in Morton. Thank you so much, Fancy.
Thank you.
See
Bye-bye.
you Saturday.
Yeah.
Bye.